What achievements of indigenous people are we supposed to be celebrating on Indigenous Peoples Day? Columbus is one of the founders of the civilization we all live in. I understand why he gets a holiday, but what about the native tribes? Of course, this is rhetorical. I know the answer. We don't celebrate achievements anymore. We celebrate victimhood. That's why they get the holiday and Columbus loses it. What?
Hi.
I love this take because, like, you don't need anything. You just need to be, like, now considered white in order for Matt Walsh to defend you. Because he is a white supremacist. Okay? That's it. That's literally it. He's like, oh, dude, he's the founder of Western civilization. The descendants of Confederate veterans are no longer allowed to honor their ancestors because it offends spineless, oversensitive liberals. Oh, I'm sorry. What's that again? Matt Walsh being upset that Confederate veterans are no longer allowed to honor their ancestors? I thought he hated celebrating losers, dude. There are no losers if you're white, though, if you're Matt Walsh. Yeah, I think Grant is my next stop. I don't know a whole lot about his work in the Western theater. I do find the Confederate generals to be more interesting, largely because they were working with such a massive disadvantage in manpower and firepower.
Almost 1 year being a dumb chatter hassle.
He discovered America, and that's what he did. Wait, what?
What, football again? He's not gonna get hurt.
Solidarity with anti-fascists in so-called Leipzig, Germany. Free Lena 161 family. Also free Malik fascist 3503.
With 50 men, we could subjugate them.
Subjugate?
And make them do whatever we want. That doesn't sound like a slave trader to you?
George Washington had slaves, the father of our country.
Well, what's your point?
His history teacher, Mr. Cushman, is teaching your son that if Columbus was alive today, he would go on trial for crimes against humanity like Milosevic. And...
By the way, as he's reading Howard Zinn. I love this. Now, people who post this unironically without recognizing it is that, like, they're missing the fucking point. Which is that, like, Tony Soprano is the bad guy here, okay?
You know, Europe.
Your teacher said that.
It's not just my teacher. It's the truth. It's in my history book.
So you finally read a book and it's bullshit.
Tony.
Look, you had to walk in Columbus's shoes to see what he went through. People thought the world was flat, for crying out loud. Then he lands on an island with a bunch of naked savages on it. I mean, that took a lot of guts. You remember when we went to Florida, the heat, and those bugs?
Well, like it took guts to murder people and put them in chains.
He was a victim of his time.
Who cares? It's what he did.
He discovered America is what he did. He was a brave Italian explorer. And in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story.
Reddit?
Was this episode deleted from HBO, by the way? Because I don't remember, in my rewatch, I don't remember seeing it.
Great show as always.
They didn't delete it, right? I hope they didn't. What is it? Furia Gunta with the best. Hey, oh.
To crack the Cusi code.
But I never liked Columbus.
Hey, what?
In Napoli, a lot of people are not so happy for Columbus. Because he was from Genova.
What's the problem with Genova?
The north of Italy always have the money and the power. They punish the south since hundreds of years. Even today, they put up their nose at us like we're peasants. I hate the north. Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck the Christopher Columbus. That's right. It's in season 3.
3 months
Speaking of indigenous peoples, yeah. Boomers don't like when you take their heroes away. They hate feeling that their parents' generation was whitewashed bullshit. Like, it's just... Dude, you can't even give indigenous people one fucking thing, dude. Like, you can't. Just one thing. Like, goddamn, dude. It's literally the bare minimum, dude. It's nuts. It's fucking nuts. Like, how fragile are you, bro? Yeah, he sucked. Okay? Move on. This isn't like material restitution. This isn't reparations. This is nothing. It's just like, hey, we won't celebrate the dude that kickstarted your genocide, okay? Like one of the people. And probably one of the worst ones, you know? Are you seriously defending Columbus? Wait, what? How did you... How was that your takeaway, dude? Do you think I find it like that positive or something?
Watching Arshan on company time hassle.
I'm a certified Italian boy. Nobody gives a shit about Columbus anymore, but the boomers here are so ignorant. The ones who bring up the fact what he did amounts to genocide. Most of them changed their minds. Then again, you could tell them that eating dirt cures COVID and they'd fucking buy it. Oh! That's right!
Can't believe it's been a year already.
We have a day dedicated to cheese, but a day dedicated to them. There's 2-4. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, even that itself is like calling Native Americans Indians is again colonial. You know what I mean? Let's not celebrate that guy that kickstarted the genocide. You must like that guy, random chatter. Yeah, I know. It's so crazy that so many people are blind to how advanced many of the
stress relief and
native people. What? Okay. Have you ever worked? Have you ever done any college? Do you do any trades? Just curious. I do concrete work 14 hours a day, and I have many other trades as well. This will never get read. What?
People hate chat.
Even the concept of indigeneity is a colonial construct. I just showed how brutal they were. It just showed how brutal they were treating the Indians. What?
Hey, Hassan people.
Anyway, I'm not going to get into the Native American Indian conversation because it's like the most unproductive fucking part of discourse. I've heard both arguments. It's not as like clear cut as Latinx, where like the overwhelming majority of Latino people don't like the Latinx for understandable reasons. Don't like Latinx for understandable reasons.
People complaining.
But as far as like Indian versus Native American or Indigenous, it just depends on who you're talking to. But more often than not, Native American people called themselves Indian. And some might not like white people calling them Indian when they themselves will call themselves Indian.
Viva Che.
Anyway. Are you sure that it's the white man who did all this stuff? Because I come from white people, and this is the first time I'm hearing of this.
Yo.
Yeah. Anyway, happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Let's take to appreciate real art. No.
2 months hype.
And it's such a weird thing for conservatives to latch onto. But I get it, because conservatism is a reactionary and hostile movement. So obviously, like, they will fucking grab on to any little thing they can that will trigger the left, or any little thing that for them is a reminder of the actions that our forefathers have taken, engaged in, that we are considering to be horrifically violent and wrong. You know, all of that All of that is a reason for them to be upset about it. Kind of like when I remind you at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break, right? And some of you get mad because I reminded you of it and say, why are you reminding us of this great oppression? And I tell you, well, you know, it's because I like to tell you when I'm running the ad and give you an opportunity to subscribe if you no longer want to see the ad, right? Because you can do that for $5 or for free.
Together we can get him up from number 13.
You can do that for $5 or for free by using your Twitch Primes if you haven't used them yet. Okay? Or if you don't want to subscribe, you can use an ad block or a VPN, but Twitch Prime is free as long as you have an Amazon Prime account. It's just wild to fucking hype up Columbus when like his peers thought he was fucking aggro, you know what I mean? But Joe Biden is the first American president that recognizes Indigenous Peoples Day. And as it stands currently, it's like it's dependent on the state. It's on a state-by-state basis. And that's pretty much it. Columbus Day was created after 11 Italians were lynched in 1891 in New Orleans. Case study of how Italians were considered non-white. Yeah. Well, some people bring that up as a counter, but the irony is like how quickly Italians switch up once they are considered white. Like, that's what I see when I look at that. And the same goes for the Irish as well. Irish Americans, of course. Where this is yet another example of like whiteness as being an ever-expanding concept, and Italians being considered non-white originally, and then once they were a part of the white dominating class or identity, now they're like, yeah, fuck that. Hey, fuck the Native Americans, you know, we gotta have our day. Anyway, Sicilians were non-white till the 30s. But why do we have to feel responsible for what our forefathers did? I'm from Belgium and I'm all too aware of what went down there, but I had nothing to do with that. I never said that. Like, what a fucking take. The thing I don't understand is like, listen, motherfucker. This is like such a weird, weirdly like self-centered conservative fucking take always, when it's like, dude, I'm not saying like practice white guilt or some shit. I'm simply stating that like recognizing the wrongs of the past and trying to do your very best to offer material restitution for said wrongs to truly create an opportunity of equality of opportunity, which currently does not exist, is the right thing to do. You know? Like, I'm not saying fucking when you see someone from the Congo just like polish their shoes or whatever, like performative liberals, performative white liberals like love to do. The whole point is it's $0 not to fucking go out to bat for Columbus. $0. But if you're doing that now in 2021, Azan, I don't see you cash apping Armenians. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't do that. You know? Or when people get mad at me and they're like, dude, send money to black people's cash apps right now. I'm like, no. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you want to do that, go ahead. They should pay reparations, though. Posturing doesn't help, but reparations do. I have no issue with paying reparations. I'm an advocate. But like, what do you mean? Reparations in the form of what? Finding like a random Native American person and like giving them money? That's not reparations, motherfucker. I just don't know how we will ever get like well-intentioned, even leftists, to escape this idea of hyper individualism. You know what I mean? Like even American leftists are like, they have this approach where material inequalities will be only solved by individual acts of altruism. Like that's the only way you can do that. Pin sub the disadvantage. Sweaty. Yeah. Anyway, this is exactly what Bo Burnham said. You have to stop looking at issues through your own self-actualization. It's so weird. And that's how fucking movements like Black Hammer take off. Yeah, I bet you don't have the balls to criticize a beautiful display of feminine courage in this CIA-funded girl boss movie.